Hey, what's up? I guess you are starting to watch this video because you have an interest in understanding a ready lift leveling kit for a F250. My truck is a 2020. This probably applies to a lot of in that range. I'm not sure exactly which ones are which, but they're all pretty much the same, minus a few little things depending on the models from what I've gathered, trying to figure out which one I want. So I did this video because I didn't see any information on this particular lift with the springs and all the stuff together. There's several videos with the spacer lifts. I'm not a fan of those. So this kit is like I said, it's a ready lift kit. And I'll post the information on the kit. It comes with I just ordered it straight from Ready Lift. It comes with the Falcon shocks. From videos I've watched, they're supposed to be pretty good. So this is the box here they come in. They're packaged pretty good from them, so no big deal. The shipping was good and all that stuff, but I'm not going to sit here and talk about everything because that's how a lot of videos are, and you spend 10 minutes watching a video and they haven't even done anything. So I'm just gonna cut and paste some of the things you need to do. If you're wanting to do this yourself, you probably need to know some of the basic stuff, so I shouldn't have to show you all the little ins and outs. So whatever, here it is. It's a 2020, I bought a few months ago. It's basically stock, but like I said, I'll just go over some of the stuff. There'll be a lot of cut and pasting of the videos to show you what you need to do. I'm not gonna video the whole process, okay? So stay tuned. So here's the box that it comes in. It's a pretty good package, stuff like that, so it's not getting all screwed up. But this kit comes with the longer springs and 4 Falcon shocks. So I got one opened up here. You can see they're pretty good. They look pretty good. I mean, they look better than your standard like Ranchos and stuff like that. I had a set on my 7.3 Power Stroke, and they suck. So these Falcons, they're supposed to be pretty good, built pretty good and stuff, and they look a lot better than most shocks you see. So we'll see. They're better than the ones that are on it because they're wore out. But anyways, this is the box inside the box. It comes with your drop-down bracket to deal with the alignment, keep the axle straight into the truck. Also comes with hardware you'll need and some cool stickers because that's really all we're buying this for. But anyways, it also has the drop-down brackets for the sway bar, your bump stops, and your alignment dilly-wops. So that's kind of what's in the kit. Also comes with some directions here, which, we're probably not going to even really look at these until we screw something up because, honestly, this gets pretty cut and dry. It's pretty simple. So, but that's what we got. And so I'll get the truck jacked up and everything like that and put on jack stands and put this thing to apart. All right, so here's just so the people that want to know exactly the height and what it does to the truck before and after. And if you look right here, bottom of the fender well is just about 40 1/4, I guess, to the bottom of that, the fender lip there. So that's kind of what we got to start with, okay? Obviously it has the rake, factory rake. So we will measure that afterwards, and that way you'll know exactly what you're gonna get, because some of these kits vary. I noticed people complain that the front sits too high, the front sits too low, this kit, that kit, and all the other kits. So whatever. So we'll figure that out later. All right, all jokes aside, I was looking at the directions from the Ready Lift. They actually have pretty good directions compared to some of the stuff that I've done over my lifetime. But the first thing they say to do is we're gonna put the alignment shim in. So you basically have to remove the cotter key and the castle nut, and the alignment shim basically goes back in there. Put it back together, put the thing in. So if you're not fooled with these before, they're pretty simple, other than the cotter keys like to break sometimes. Then you have to replace them. So it wouldn't be probably a bad idea to have a couple of those if you don't have a way to get to the store. other than your truck you're working on. So just like I said, straighten that out, and then you can back these out. Mine are loose, so I got lucky. But just do that, and then I'll be back with you when I get it in. I'll show you what you did when sparked. All right, so this is a good time. As always, when you're working on stuff, things go as planned. Come over to hook up my air compressor to use my impact, and oh well, guess we're not using that today. So much for making things a little easier. Anyways, on with the program. All right, so I got this broke loose. That was kind of a pain in the butt. So just be prepared with chisels and hammers and whatnot to get that broke loose. Mine was stuck in there pretty good, but it came loose with a little persuasion. My tool of persuasion that finally worked was the old trusty brick hammer. But anyways, it wouldn't be a bad idea to soak that down, you know what I'm saying, like right when you start, or with some PB Blaster or something like that, or even like the day before or something like that if you have it jacked up or whatever. So just an idea, but that can kind of be a pain. But this is what we're putting back in. Comes in the kit. We'll be replacing that and then snugging everything back up. Cool. All right, so next you take this bolt out of the top here, out of this bracket, and then there's a little bolt down here. I think this was like 13, that was like a 10 or something. But loosen those up so that's free when you drop the axle to put your spring and stuff in. And then also take both ends of these of the sway bar off, and you can just kind of push this up out of the way. And that way all the lines are free. There's also a hose that's connected to, it's for your four-wheel drive vacuum. It's connected to the cross member under there. Yeah, just be careful with that. You probably have to disconnect that. Other videos said you did, but I pulled it off there so it won't hang up on that and pull it loose. So other than that, disconnect those is the next step, and then I'm going to take the shocks off now, and we'll figure it out. All right, your next deal is taking off the shocks. I got the shocks taken off. So I think now it's just dropping the front end and putting in the coils. All right, I dropped the front end down. Basically, as it come down on mine, they just kind of pop loose and they basically just fall out. So just make sure when you start off this thing, I got plenty of room here to drop it down as far as I need. And it seemed like when I jacked the truck up, you just want to make sure you have enough room to drop it, because if you don't, you're kind of screwed at this point. So it seemed like I had about 3 or 4 inches under the stock tires once I, you know what I'm saying, let it all the way down with everything hooked up. So as long as you got that, you should have plenty. I've got probably another 5 inches it could go down if it needs to. So just make sure that, get yourself set up, that way it'll work out. So cool. All right, so before you put the new springs in, a whole lot easier to put these bump stops in first. You just have to put the spacers in. So this is what comes in your kit, and basically just drops it down the amount you're raising the truck. Pretty simple. This is your pad that goes, it bolts up right here behind the coil spring. So it's 10 millimeter. You just undo that. Now this is actually your bump stop. Basically just jam a flathead screwdriver in there and kind of pry it out. It's kind of a pain, but it just pries out. And then take that pad off right there, the pad that's bolted to, and then we'll get in the hardware, excuse me, and we'll find the correct hardware to rebolt it through the spacer and get that all hooked up. Cool. So one thing to note here, I was looking in the instructions, which, you know, they come in handy sometimes. So you're supposed to cut off the pad. You're dropping this down a couple inches. So basically put that where it's supposed to go, and then kind of just mark right where it, like even with the frame, and you're basically just cutting that edge of that lip off there. So I guess with the added length, that way it doesn't hit the coil spring, I would imagine. So I'm going to trust them, and so just cut this off with a grinder and hit it with a flat disc and paint it black, and then we'll put it all together. So just something to note here. if you're doing this yourself or whatever. The new springs obviously are way nicer than the factory ones. So there's a notch right here, dealer up on the bottom perch, okay, and that needs to kind of lock into the bottom coil. It has a little hook there. That needs to sit there, and then obviously your pad on the top, okay, I'll pull this off real quick. The pad on the top is also, see right there, it's got a little notch in the pad. So you just want to make sure you index those correctly, so that way when it goes up in there, everything sits correctly. If it's not seated in the right spot, it's not going to work out well for you. So just want to note that, just watch those when you put those back together. All right, I got all the springs put up in there, seated right. The shocks in there, they're all bolted up, tightened down. Now the only thing that I have to do is the drop down bracket and the sway bar brackets. So I'll probably start with the drop down bracket first, and I'll show you what I run into there. All right, so I got the new bracket in there. It's all tightened up. And so a little tip to get this bar back in. All right, so when you put this in, try to put this back up in there, it's probably not going to line up. I mean, it might. You might get really lucky, and it's perfectly lined up. So what I did, mine wasn't. So I kind of got it wedged up in there where it was close, and then I just used the jack and jacked up the front end and actually pushed it up into place, and then just slid the bolt in. So you can manipulate that bar and bracket with just using a 4-jack on the front end, move it around. You can also, if it's close, you can also put a screwdriver in where the bolt goes and kind of wedge it in there and try to get it centered up. So, but now the only thing that I've got left is the sway bar drop down brackets. I'll put that on there, and then I'll go back over everything and tighten it up. Oh, I've got to put the little drop down brackets for the brake lines up too. So other than that, that's basically it. I'll get all that put on there, and I'll come back to you. All right, so the drop down bracket, unbolts with a bolt. Right, big one, super tight. I believe it took approximately 5 ooga-doogas to undo that one. There's 2 bolts here, or one there, and there's 3 up under the underside there that are also pretty tight. So they're supposed to be that way, you know, for some reason. Anyways, that's all loosened up there, and I'll replace that with the new one, and then I'll show you what's up. So I got the brackets put on for the sway bar. I mean, it works. It's a little bit of a challenge getting it all together and stuff like that, but it fit together fine. So here's the brake line brackets that drop it down to give you the length you need for the added suspension travel. They work. Just when you put them on, you kind of have to pull the brake lines a little bit, the factory metal brake lines. So just be aware of where you're pulling it from. And the other side, which is the passenger side, the line actually wraps right over the top of the frame. So when you pull it, it wants to put the brake line right up against the frame so that it's fine in the short term, but it could wear a hole in the brake line with a lot of vibration. So make sure you kind of like adjust that to where it's not metal on metal. Long term, that probably won't work good for the brake line. So just be aware of that. I mean, it works, but yeah, you just kind of have to adjust everything a little bit. So cool. Yeah, so hopefully you got some good information out of the video, and it'll help somebody figure out what they're doing or what they want. My plan with this, I'm going to put 37s on it. So today's Saturday. I'm going Monday morning to get tires put on it. So hopefully they fit pretty good. I've been I've been told 100 million times that they do, so that's what I'm doing. So hopefully this helped you make a decision on maybe what to get. The Falcon shocks seem like they're pretty nice. They just saved me money right out of the gate to get the package, and they seem like they're pretty good. I do like Bilsteins. I've had those on my old 7.3, and they were way better than Ranchos. Ranchos are kind of junk. They're kind of base shocks that came with a lift that I had on it. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. Hopefully you guys like the video, and hopefully it helps somebody figure out which way to go and all that. I would highly recommend getting a kit with all the stuff, because that's one thing that you got to have the alignment shims, you got to have the drop down brackets for the sway bar, you got to have all that stuff. If you don't, it's just kind of be cobbled together, and it's probably not going to be good long term. So that's one thing that I did. I figured out after looking a while, get a kit with all the stuff, all the parts, and this kit had everything you need, and it went together pretty smooth. So it should work fine. So hope you like the video. Hopefully it matters. So later. I'll add this to the end of the video. It kind of not pertaining to the lift kit, but a lot of you guys like change out the valance on the front of these trucks, and everybody wants to get the trimmer valance or whatever. So the thing of it is it's a piece of plastic, guys. So like, you can go waste your money and buy a new one. That's what you want to do. Or you can cut it like I did with a grinder in about 5 minutes. So I'd rather go buy a grinder and a cutoff wheel and a flap disc and do a little bit of work. All you got to do is take it off, measure down 1 inch, 2 inch, whatever you want it to be, and cut it off. So here's the truck the day after I went and got my tires put on. These are 37 1250s, obviously on the stock tire or stock wheel. They fit fine. They drive fine. I didn't notice any rubbing. Everybody says it rubs a little bit on the control arm or the radius arm, whatever you want to call it. In front, if you go full lock, I wouldn't doubt that. But like I said, other than that, you may have to trim your front valance a little bit. That it might be a little bit close with the 37s, but it looks a lot better with the 37s in my opinion. So to me, it looks like it should. So the stock tires and stuff are always a little bit small in every one of these trucks. So a little bit bigger tire looks way better. So just thought that would be interest to you if you're looking at doing the 37s.